Hi everybody and welcome back. Today I want to show you what an absolute powerhouse this dynamic duo is proving to be. I present to you the Octaluge. In case you're not familiar with it already, the Deluge is a powerful all-in-one groove box with built-in synthesizer engine, sampling, and external audio processing, as well as one of the most advanced and, depending on who you ask, one of the friendliest sequencers out there. The reason why the Deluge is here is twofold. First, because I wanted something that could process vocals live, which the Deluge can do. And second, because I wanted to try out a simple setup with absolutely minimum clutter, so ideally no external effects pedals or synthesizers like the last time. This more minimalistic approach is sort of a double-edged sword, because having less options does make my music creation way more focused and fluid, especially since there's less stuff to cable up physically and sync up in MIDI. The downside for going this route, though, is that I'll have less hands-on control of each individual parameter on the synths themselves on the different tracks, and also a more restricted sound palette since I'll be relying mainly on the internal synths of the Deluge. Now, thankfully, both the Deluge and the Octatrack are top-tier samplers, so if I do need to add more flavors into my mix, I can just add it in a sample here or there. Also, one of the things I really love about the Deluge is being able to quickly convert any synth or drum track into MIDI instantly, with just the press of this little button right here. And that means that I can sequence and play around with ideas with stand-in sounds, so to speak, on the go inside the Deluge, and then I could hook it up to one of my big boy synths when I get back home, and I could just sequence that and sample it back into the Octatrack or into the Deluge. Okay, so let me give you a quick rundown of all the moving parts of this track. So first off, I just start with a simple bass and a drum track. And what I particularly liked about this synth is the way the filter behaves. It goes from that plucky, bassy sound, opening up with a filter. Then we just add a bit of maracas and delay. Oldest trick in the book, but signals that, okay, this thing's moving forward. Nice. And then I start adding more synths, all internal plugins. Synths, sorry. Starts evolving. Then, more internal synths. Now, the funny thing here is, I originally thought of replacing most of the stuff with my other more serious synths later on, but funnily enough, this all made the final cut. Except for the bass line. The one thing that I am using externally is my Sub 37, which is a sweetheart of mine, and it's being sequenced from the Deluge. Now, the cool thing about this is that I originally made the sequence on the Deluge on the go, and then I just converted it to MIDI, and if I don't want to haul around my Sub 37, I'll just sample it into the Octatrack or the Deluge, and Bob's your uncle. So right about now, you might be asking yourself, why bother with the Octatrack at all if the Deluge seems to have me covered? And to that I say, you're right. I might have been able to do all of this just on the Deluge. But the Deluge's biggest strength is also its greatest weakness, so to speak, when it comes to live playing. And it's the same problem, and please note the air quotes, that any powerful groove box like the MPC, the Deluge, or something like the Ableton Push 3 might have. And that is that you can pretty much just automate the whole thing and arrange clips into a song, and that means that you could just potentially just press play and that's it. That's your whole live performance. And my problem with that is that I always ask myself, what makes this different from just plugging in my cell phone into front of house and just playing my music to an audience while I just sit there with my arms crossed? Now, for a live situation, I want a bit more of a live aspect. Mind-blowing stuff on this video, I know. I am looking to have a bit of an adrenaline rush, both for me and the audience, by having room for more on-the-fly improvisation for it all. And, of course, the tension of the thought that something might actually go wrong in this performance. The idea of adding vocals was precisely to give it a more of an in-the-moment feel, but as far as samples and track manipulation go, the Deluge wasn't really doing it for me, and that's where the Octatrack comes in. Before going forward, a quick word from today's sponsor, Analog Cases. Hi there. Does this keep happening to you? You're sitting down with your favorite groove box laid flat on your desk when suddenly you reach too far to snap your neck and die. Snap. Snap. Aw man, there's got to be a better way. Well, don't you worry, my postmortem friend. Analog Cases have you covered with their new line of XTS stands for desktop synths. They offer a sturdy solution with an extendable frame so they can fit a wide range of your synths to put them at just the right angle so you can prevent fatal neck injuries and death. Aside from grooving with a better posture, you also get a better clearance for your audio and MIDI cables, so you can fit in more synths in a smaller footprint. XTS stands come in two sizes, and the bigger stand allows for one of two sizes of shelves, so you can lay down multiple smaller modules or effects pedals. Give your studio a makeover and try out the new XTS stands by Analog Cases, because the only thing breaking in your studio should be your beats, not your neck. Thanks, Analog Cases! Now, it's no secret that the Octatrack was built for live performance. I mean, it even says so on the box. And on it, I have an abundance of parameters that I can tweak on the fly or assign to scene so I can play around with the crossfader. I can live sample, I can live loop, I can mangle external audio, and also it just happens to support one of the most powerful sequencers known to man. So far, on this song, I'm using it pretty sparingly, but I'm still developing this, so I want to have room to grow with this machine right here. So far, the Octatrack is acting as the MIDI master, so it's sending the start and stop signals to the Deluge. On track number 1, I have a time-stretched drum loop that I also sequence so it becomes the main percussion and adds some interest with some funky re-triggers. If you see here, it's not only being time-stretched, but it's also being triggered in multiple instances, so it exists some variation there. Another thing I did is I assigned a scene, so when I take to the right, it adds some delay and it pitches it up an octave. So all of that together sounds like this. Aside from that, I'm also using the Octatrack to launch a few texture samples here and there, as well as running the Deluge audio into the Octatrack and compressing it so I can mix it better with the rest. I'm still messing around with it, and I'm trying to find samples that might go nicely here, but I'm also trying to remind myself that having available tracks does not always mean I have to use them all. A lot of the music that I'm really enjoying nowadays have very minimalistic orchestrations, and lately I'm finding I struggle more with reining myself in rather than not having enough ingredients, which I suppose can be a good thing because at least I have options, right? My biggest conundrum so far with all of this live stuff is just how much of the live performance should be live. Before synths, when I was in a rock band singing and playing guitar, I didn't have this problem since everything was being played on the spot. But here I haven't really managed to really grasp how much of the live electronic music is pre-baked and how much of it is actual spur of the moment. Is me singing through the Deluge and also triggering the clips and doing a bit of knob twiddling enough for an entertaining live show? Is there really a point in like doing excessive nipple twisting of the knobs every now and then and to no real audible effect like I've seen many performers out there seemingly do? It's funny because in these walkthrough videos, like the YouTuber, in this case me, always seems to have all the answers, but I'll be honest, I really have no idea how much is enough or too much. And so I turn to you, my dear viewer. Hopefully you have an opinion about all this, and it doesn't really matter if you're coming at it from a performer's perspective or an audience member's point of view. Just let me know. Where do you draw the line between lip syncing and live performing when it comes to synths and sequencers? Go nuts. I'll meet you down there in the comments. Anyway, philosophy aside, I want to show you what I made with this rig, which I'm honestly pretty excited about. I really hope you enjoy it, and if you'd like to see me do more of these music making hangouts rather than only sticking to gear reviews, please let me and the algorithm know with just a quick click of the thumbs up, and if you're feeling extra generous, maybe even subscribe and give me a shout out down below. It really does help keep the channel going, and it is greatly appreciated. As always, thank you so much for listening and for watching. I hope you found this video useful or at least entertaining. Have a great week. See you next time.